Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, Luxe Party Favors by Nikki. I've been away for a while. When I say I've been away, I haven't been in front of the camera. I've done a couple of tutorials where there's a voiceover and you're able to just see my hands, but I really wanted to sit down and get in front of the camera today and film a tutorial for you guys. So you see a bunch of goodies on my table because today we are going to be making the viral Pringle shakers. Oh my gosh, how stinking cute is this? Listen, you may see a number 5 up here and a number 3 down here. It's okay, this is a mock-up. I realized it at the end. I'm like, oh crap, but I did fix it on the actual items I'm going to be designing, showing you. But yes, this is just a mock-up. This is my first time creating this. Let me tell you, well, my second time creating it. The first time, it was a wreck. It was a hot mess. And so I had to, just take a pause for like 3 weeks and try it again. But I think it came out so cute. Look at that. Can you see? So that's what we're going to be creating today. So I'm actually just going to be showing you all the assembly process. I'm not going to show you all how I design and cut everything out just because that would be a very long video. But of course, I can always create that type of video for you. Just let me know in the comments if that's something that you'd like to see. So I've already cut out all of the items that I'm gonna need. Obviously, I have the main label and the strips. I cut these out with my Cricut. You don't need to use a Cricut if you prefer not to, but obviously you're gonna get a cleaner look if you allow the cutting machine do what it's meant to do. And have a couple of other items. I'm gonna list the products below. I'm not gonna go over everything. I'm gonna list the products in the description box below. Okay, so I am out of glue tape. It did not arrive on time. So normally I would take some glue tape and put some on each end of the back of the main image. Excuse me. You can also use sticker paper, but I choose not to use sticker paper just because it does not allow room for flexibility, because once it's on, and you can mess up some projects unless you are a super pro, and I'm not. So I'm gonna just use my adhesive tape and put, here are my scissors, and put a strip on each side just as I would do with my glue tape. So that's a little too big. I'm gonna cut it down to size and just put it on the ends of, it's still too big. So I'll just go ahead and cut off that little bit with my scissors. It's a little bit at the bottom also. And I love this adhesive because it's perfect if you are selling the labels or the wrappers only. For example, I use these for my chip bags. If someone just wants to buy the wrappers, my wrappers come pre-assembled, so all they have to do is stick the treats inside the bag and take off the label and seal it. So that's what I really bought these for, but it works for this as well. So this is not sticky yet. You have to take off the paper to reveal the adhesive side. I think I'm gonna bring you guys in so you can be up close and personal to see what I am doing. So I'm gonna bring you guys in a little closer. All right, so I got you guys a little closer. I just shook the tripod. I'm not using my overhead tripod right at the moment. I just have you all in a little closer. So first thing I'm gonna do is just take off the top, and we're gonna go ahead and wrap this around. So depending on what you have, if you're using the adhesive tape, you're gonna wanna take off the paper to reveal the adhesive. Not sure if you can see the difference on the camera, but it's sticky. So I like to press it all the way up to the top and then it'll just cover up the bottom. But it's okay if it doesn't look perfect at the bottom, because we're going to cover it up with one of those strips of paper. So I'm coming in with a voiceover for a good amount of this video. I'm not sure what happened to my audio, but it went haywire, and it was just, you weren't able to hear me. So what I'm doing here, like I said, I have my adhesive. I'm just going to remove the back end and go ahead and finish wrapping that around and sealing that off. Again, you could use sticker paper or the glue tape that I normally use, but I didn't have that. So the next thing that we're going to do is go ahead and put the bottom strip on the bottom of the can. I'm just measuring it just to make sure that it actually fit. And the bottom strip is a little smaller than the larger one. So I'm going to take my skinny adhesive tape. You notice that I used my larger adhesive tape for the main label, but I'm going to take my skinny adhesive tape just to use it to seal or to adhere this strip on the bottom. Like I said, I would normally use my glue tape, but I didn't have it, but this works just as good. And I'm going to go ahead and drop the link for this in the description box, because these adhesive tape rolls are super, super helpful. I had to cut a extra piece because it wasn't the right size. And then again, I didn't size it appropriately. So all you do is remove the back end like I did previously, and you can remove it little by little, or you can remove it in its entirety like I did. If you remove it little by little, it allows for flexibility so that you can make mistakes. But once you take that back end off, it's unforgiven. You can't make any mistakes, because if you try to fix it, it's going to tear that main label and you'll have to start over. So just carefully place it around the bottom of your can, and you shouldn't have any issues. And so this worked just fine with me. I didn't have any problems with the adhesive messing up or the strip not being properly aligned. So it worked just fine. So wrap it all the way around the bottom until the tips meet, and voila. So you'll see, I'm just gonna go ahead and seal that. And there you have it, my friends. The easy part is done. So now we are going to move into the lid. So I'm going to take my red circle, and I'm going to use this glue that I purchased from Amazon, but you don't have to use this glue. You can use whatever you have, but something that is pretty adhesive and will make sure that it's secure. You can also use the glue gun, but I didn't want it to be raised, so I just decided to go with that glue. And I'm going to actually have to put something on the bottom of it just to make sure that it stays, because it kind of lifts up a bit. So I'm going to use a small vase just to kind of press it down while I'm working on some other items, because you can see if I remove my hand, it will fall off. So I'm going to press it down a bit, and then I'm going to just go ahead and get a small vase and put on top of it just to hold it down so I can secure it a bit. But again, if you use a glue gun, it's going to stick immediately, but I chose not to use the glue gun for that. So the next thing we're going to do is bring out the box of joy. So all of these items are going to be, not all of them, these items are going to be used for the shaker part. It's just a bunch of confettis and beads. It's the fun part. I actually purchased these items from the Dollar Tree and from Walmart. So I purchased the sequins from Walmart, and the beads from Walmart, and everything else from the Dollar Tree. But even the items that I purchased from Walmart, they were about $1.50. It was less than $1.50. So I'm just going to count out an even amount of beads just to make sure that, you know, the shake sounds the same. I'm going to end up using 12 beads, or 12 of each color. So I have the yellow and the red. I'm going to use 12 of each color, but with the confetti, I'm just going to kind of wing it. You want to make sure that you have about the same amount of items in there, because you know how kids are. They're like, why is his shaker sound stronger than mine? Why does it sound more vibrant than mine? So they're always comparing. They'll probably even count the beads. So just to be sure that you don't have that issue, at least with the beads, you can count those out. But with the rest of the items, you're just going to kind of wing it. So these are called confetti tubes, I believe. So I'm just going to put a teensy bit of the different colors. A teensy, that's a new measurement. Teens. I'm going to use the blue, and then I'm going to move on to the red. And so obviously the colors that I selected, they go along with the Toy Story theme. Really, you can use any color, because Toy Story, it's like the whole rainbow, to be honest. So I just use a teensy bit of the confetti tubes, and then I'm going to go in with some sequins. Again, you know, you can't use the exact amount. You know, it's difficult. I guess you could if you wanted to. You can count out specific numbers of confetti, but that'd be a little silly. So you're just going to have to guesstimate and try to make it about the same when you're creating these, especially if you're creating multiple ones. You're going to try to make sure you have the same amount of confetti in each of the different domes, and make sure you don't have too much either, because then it'd be an excessive amount and it probably won't look good and it could ruin your design. So that's that. I actually probably need to get some containers for these, but that's another day. I'll probably get some little plastic containers to keep them all in instead of those bags. But I haven't even made one of these for anyone yet. Okay, I'm going to warm my glue gun. Why didn't I warm it up before? Once this stops flashing, that means that it's warm. And so I cut out these little number 5s on my Cricut. I just did a mirror image. And there are some imperfections that I don't appreciate. And so when I created this on my Cricut design space, I added a little flap so that it can be a little base, so that it can stand up. So let me just fold that a little bit more. And hopefully, you know, I also layered it so that it's tough enough to withstand the shaken, so that you see how this one, it's not moving. It's not really affected by the shaken. So that was intentional. Okay, so you can, you don't have to do the birthday number. You can also do little figurines, cutouts of images, whatever you like and whatever the customer requests. So I'm just going to stick this in the middle. I'm just bending it just so that it stands upright. Let me check to see if my glue is ready. I just like to do a little test. Glue gun is so messy. I'm just not a fan. I've tried another glue gun and it just was awful. And so I returned it. So I'm stuck with this one until I try another one. Okay, it's ready. She's been old faithful. I tried another one with a skinnier tip, but I wasn't impressed. I returned it. All right, just put some of that on the bottom and stick it right in the middle. Press that bottom down so that it secures to that base. Uh-oh, my little circle is lifting up a bit. Holy cow, the glue is doing too much. And this is a reason why I didn't do this project, because I haven't really, you know, found my groove with regards to not making a big mess with this stuff, with the glue. It was like, if somebody has tips, please show me. I've seen where other people use other types of glue, but I tell you what, this glue gun is not the best thing. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, you can do this two ways. You can either pour the confetti inside the dome and then glue it, and then glue around it, and then stick it on. But I'm going to put the confetti on the bottom, so be careful. And kind of put it in the center so that when you put the dome on, that it doesn't get stuck on the glue. That seems like a lot of confetti. So I kind of want to get it away from the edge. That's what I'm doing. But again, the other way may be a bit simpler. But you know, let's live on the edge here. Why make life simpler? No, I tried the other way and I didn't like it because it was messy. Okay, so just gonna try to scoot that over so that when I stick on the dome, it doesn't, you know, make a mess. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is cut off this little handle. And this is not required. You can get fancy and keep this little, it's not a handle, whatever it's called. You can keep this little tab on and add, you know, a keychain or something cute, but I'm going to cut it off. Actually, I don't know how you could, I guess you could still use a keychain, and when you put the top layer on, you can just go around it, but we're not going to do that today. We're just going to cut it off. Be careful, because you don't want it, you don't want the dome to like crack. You can use pliers, scissors. It's super easy to come off. See, so simple. And I also have like a, what do you call those things? Like a sander. So if you really wanted to flatten that, you can sand that too, but I'm not going to do that today. Okay, so here's the fun part. We are going to go ahead and start gluing around the outside of this lid. Just going to pray on it, okay? That it all works out. Holy. And these are just mock-up designs. I'm still practicing, to be honest, but I wanted to get in front of you all and show you how I do it and how it's going. Okay, so you want to be as quick as possible and as careful as possible, just going around the perimeter, because you know the glue will dry quickly. But just go as quickly as possible, and you're going to reinforce this with some more glue, and you're going to cover it with that little strip of paper, so it'll be all good. All right, let's quickly put this on. Okay, and then hold it down. I just need some tips. It could be just the glue that I have that treats me terribly, or it could be my technique. I don't know. I've seen where some folks use zip dry, but that didn't seem to work very well for me. All right, so what we're gonna do now, so that's on there, you know, it's fine, but I'm gonna go around it again and add a little bit more glue for some reinforcements. And I'm gonna add even more glue on the strip of paper once we get to that part. So, let's see, it's like And if there's any like strands of glue, you can just use a coat rag to get it off or some alcohol. But I think before I offer this to customers, I'm going to try it a couple more times just to make sure that I perfect the, you know, perfect my craft. So I'm just going to go around the perimeter where there are any gaps. And just know if it looks messy, it's fine because you're going to cover that up. And you're not going to even be able to see this part. But you just want to go around it as some extra reinforcement. Okay, I'm just going to finish this part up and then I'm going to come back to you with the strip that we're going to use to hide all of this. Okay, y'all, now we are going to put the top on, or the top strip on, and that's going to go around that way. So let me see, because I want to make sure that it folds the right way. Okay. All right, so there's a little bit of glue right there already. So I'm going to put a little on the actual lid. And I'm going to stick the strip on like the middle. We're going to cover that part up. Okay. So that's what we got so far. And so we're going to hold this down so that it sticks. And then if you have any residue, you can just go ahead and cut that off at the end. All right, so now what I'm going to do is slowly wrap this around and add glue while I'm doing it, and then you'll get something like that. All right. And so it didn't come off because, again, it's glued in the middle. Okay, so let's go ahead and start gluing. You're going to want to glue where you have that reinforcement glue. And you're gonna wanna put some glue. Y'all, this glue, you're gonna put some on the plastic, okay? So that's what we're gonna do right now. Right meow. And you're just gonna do a little at a time because you're gonna wanna seal it and press it. And you don't want it to dry. Because you need to make sure you have as much reinforcement as possible because there are going to be kids shaking this thing and playing with it. Oops. All right. Again, you just want to make sure that you cover up that reinforcement glue. And when you put that reinforcement glue on, you don't want to put as much as I did because there are a few lumps and I don't like that. But don't add as much as I did. Just add just enough to provide some reinforcement, but I'm going to go to the other side right now. But so that it's not like lumpy. So when you try to seal, to do the paper, it doesn't look lumpy. Listen, y'all, we are both learning together for real. I told y'all this is my first time. Well, now technically my third time because the first time was a complete failure. The second time is this one. And so this is the third time. But again, I'm going to have to do this a couple of more times before I feel comfortable selling it. What I'll probably do, what's that piece of, that little bead, it was just floating. What I'll probably do in order to get more practice is to create these for friends and family. Like I'll probably create some for my son's, maybe for his birthday party that's coming up. You know, stuff like that. All right, we're gonna add a bit more glue and then we're gonna go ahead and seal it off. All right, so I'll be back with the next step. All right, y'all, so we're gonna go ahead and put the lid on. We'll fold the tab in. Make sure the number 5 is facing forward. And there you have it. All right, so the next step is to do a test to make sure that when a child pulls this off, it doesn't completely fall apart. So let's go ahead and try that, okay? All right. Maybe I should get my kids to come and try it. Oh, well, that's perfect. And see, that's why you needed all that reinforcement, because you don't want it to disassemble when the child is, you know, taking it off. And so the good thing about this little party favor is that once the lid is off, this is, you know, a take home. The kids can take this home and, you know, play with it, or they can use it during the party and just have a good old time. Okay. These can be like maracas. Well, that is it, my friends. I certainly hope that you enjoy this tutorial and you learn something. Listen, we're learning together with some of these projects. Like I said, this is literally my 3rd time creating these. First time, epic fail. 2nd time, I did today. The 3rd time, I also did today. So thanks so much for watching. If you haven't done so and you enjoy my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. And if you're feeling inclined, feel free to go hang out on my other social medias. I'll post everything in the description box, all of my social media links, and I'll also post my shop links, and I'll post links to my frequently used products and the products that I use today. So if you want a separate video where I'm designing everything and sizing everything, please let me know. Or if you'd rather just me create the template, add it to my shop, and you can purchase it, I can do that too. Just let me know in the comments which direction I should go, and I can do both if you're up to that. But that is all I have. Thanks so much for following along on my party favor journey. Bye.